A hot topic of debate for both Democrats and Republicans has been what to do about the increased unemployment benefits set to expire July 31st of this year. Well, there's a new proposal on the table to attempt and solve this issue. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the issues that people are having with the current system, the proposals we have so far to try and attempt to fix it, and what this new proposal will attempt to do. So let's start with some context. So due to this pandemic we're currently in, the government approved a pandemic unemployment assistance program. This landmark program allowed individuals who lost their jobs since the beginning of the pandemic to receive $600 per week until July 31st. This unemployment assistance program is unique for three separate reasons. First, it's unique because contractors and sole proprietors could apply. Never before have we seen unemployment insurance where self-employed individuals were able to receive any form of benefits. Normally that's only reserved for W-2 employees. Second, the amount was higher than what we've ever seen before. $600 plus regular state unemployment meant an average of over $900 per week in benefits for individuals. It varies a little bit state to state because every state has slightly different average unemployment benefits, but it comes out to about $930 a week on average across the United States. Finally, the goal of this program is to keep people home. This is very different than normal unemployment insurance, which goal is typically to help sustain people, but not be a high enough dollar amount as to motivate people to search out new employment as quickly as possible. So this program is all fine and dandy, so what is the issue here? Well, we have less than 2 months left before this program expires, and we still have very different opinions on the topic for both Democrats and Republicans. So I'm going to give the argument for both sides and try to support it with facts so you can decide what your opinion is or who is or isn't correct on this. So starting with Democratic members, on average, they feel that we should extend unemployment benefits. The HEROES Act, which was passed through the House, included a provision to extend the pandemic unemployment benefits through the end of the year, with some provisions to extend it as far as March of 2021. Many Democratic members feel that a one-time payment just simply isn't enough and people need a regular payment in order to cover their bills, and they'll need it for the foreseeable future because we have no idea how long all this chaos is going to last. On the employment side, we can all agree that things are not good. 41 million Americans have filed for unemployment in the last few months, and there's likely going to be even higher numbers next week. And including that, about 15% or 1 in 7 previously employed women have lost their jobs. Pretty similar for men. However, to play devil's advocate here, and again, because this is me just trying to argue both sides, businesses are starting to reopen, and we don't know how many people are going to get their jobs back within the next month or so. We could see a situation where half of the people who lost their job get their job back in the next month. Or we could see a situation where it gets even worse. The unknown aspect of what might happen is the tough part, especially when it comes to legislation where you're kind of betting on what might happen in the future, and this bet is going to make a huge difference on the deficit depending on what exactly you decide. So there's some huge decisions here. On the Republican side, members on average feel that the increased pandemic unemployment creates a disincentive to get back to work. Many Republican representatives believe that we should let PUA expire, or we should attempt to combat the potential negative side effects with some kind of altered plan for beyond the 31st of July. So to argue for this side, and again, don't take your anger out on me, I'm just presenting both arguments. Let's look back at goal number 3 of PUA, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, to keep people home. A goal of this program was to keep people home, away from the virus. That was because at the time we were still determining how bad the situation was. We later realized, okay, maybe the virus isn't quite as bad as we thought for your average non-high-risk American. So does this create a disincentive to work, this program? Yes, that was the goal of the program, to keep people home from working. So it can't be a surprise that it's keeping people home from working. So on average, people are going to do the thing that earns more money, especially if that thing is easier to do. It seems pretty common sense what exactly is happening. There are many reports of employers not being able to hire their employees back because they want to remain unemployed, because they might be making more on unemployment. There's a variety of reasons here. Yes, employers could report the employee and eventually they'll be taken off unemployment, but many employers don't want to do that, and many employment offices are so bogged down that these things aren't going to get taken care of anytime soon. But for every person that refuses work, there's probably 2 people who don't have a job to go back to, at least yet. And something still needs to be done for those people. So this leaves us to where we're at now. 2 camps just totally divided on this situation. We have both extreme sides of the spectrum. One being the continuation of payments until the end of the year, and the other being just ending PUA altogether. There'll still be state unemployment, but it isn't nearly as high as this additional $600. I doubt we're going to see either side go all the way. So the logical solution here is to find some form of common ground. As we can see, there's arguments on both sides that are grounded in logic, and it's a very tough situation. So this is where our future proposals come into play. There are now 3 total proposals that are getting legitimate consideration. And they're all somewhat like meet in the middle type ideas, ranging a little bit where exactly they're meeting in the middle. So I'm going to briefly go over the existing 2 and then cover the new idea. First, we have Senator Wyden's proposal to use a kind of sliding scale to determine the amount individuals within each state will receive through PUA. Here's exactly how it'll work. After July 31st, the current expiration date of the additional unemployment, all additional unemployment will remain at an additional $600 per week until the state's 3-month average unemployment falls below 11%. So below an unemployment rate of 11%, the weekly PUA dollar amount goes down linearly. Once unemployment is between 10 to 11%, the additional unemployment benefit would go down to $500. Between 9 and 10%, it'd go down to $400. Between 8 and 9%, it'd go down to $300. 7 and 8% go down to $200. 6 and 7% go down to $100. And then finally, below a 6% average unemployment rate for the 3-month previous period, there would be no additional pandemic unemployment benefit. So this plan is logical, and the use of automatic stabilizers has been touted as a great idea from economists for years in a variety of situations. The downside here is it's actually pretty tough to get unemployment figures, especially on a state-by-state basis. And there's going to be a lot of gray area if you're trying to base an entire system off of that. So the second proposal is Senator Rob Portman's plan to create a Get Back to Work incentive. You might have already heard about this. The incentive would provide an additional $450 in pay to individuals who leave unemployment to return back to work. That'd be $450 per week. This number would make the average worker on minimum wage earn more going back to work than what they would have on unemployment. And it would be a cheaper system overall for the taxpayer. Common arguments to this proposal are it does nothing for those who don't have a job to return back to, and it does nothing for those who have been working the whole time, the essential workers. Both valid arguments and don't exactly have a solution as of right now. So Portman says that this would incentivize people to return to work while costing tens of billions of dollars less than the HEROES Act proposal of continuing the benefits through the end of the year, and it would have a similar net benefit to just continuing the payments. If you want more information on both of those 2 proposals, I have separate videos on each one that goes much more in depth. I don't want to make this video 30 minutes long going into every single nuance of every detail. So check those out if you're interested in some more details on those proposals. All right, so we've covered those 2 proposals. We've covered our bases. What exactly is going on? What is this new proposal all about? Well, this proposal is by Republican Representative Kevin Brady, and he outlines an idea that has been gaining some traction where individuals who are receiving unemployment benefits currently and return to work would be able to receive up to 2 weekly payments of $600 or 1 lump sum payment of $1,200 as a bonus incentive to return back to work. The benefit would be available through July 31st when the $600 is set to expire. So effectively, someone who is offered their job back can come off of unemployment, get their job back, and still receive 2 weeks worth of unemployment pay. Basically, another stimulus check for just going back to work. I'm not sure why $1,200 is the dollar amount for like every single stimulus. Why is this number floating around? I'm not sure. It seems like it just seems like a good number. Anyways, let's break this down. Looking at it purely by itself, and for individuals who have the opportunity to return back to work, this isn't a bad deal. You get your regular income back, and you get another stimulus check, basically. However, comparing it to the other 2 stimulus proposals that we just outlined, this creates the smallest net benefit for the average person on unemployment. The first one lets people remain on unemployment for many more months, and the second one includes $1,800 a month for those who return to work. So they're much larger benefits in aggregate. So comparing it to the other 2 proposals, most people aren't going to like this idea. However, if we compare this to the pandemic unemployment assistance simply just ending and becoming $0 after July 31st, this program doesn't seem so bad. It's really a case where perspective is key. Right now, expectations are really high because this proposal, this plan, is higher than we've ever seen before. So even a good plan is going to seem like crap in comparison to what we have currently. Either way, a glaring issue with this plan is it also does nothing for those who have no job to return to. After July 31st, it's still going to expire for those people. Those people are the ones who need a benefit the most. And then this brings us to a tricky question. Is there any way to filter who actually has access to return to a job and who doesn't? After thinking about this for a while, I don't think there's really a good way to do this without the government becoming some kind of like watchdog or babysitter, which I personally don't like the idea of. The bottom line is a key piece Democratic members are fighting for is help for the unemployed. And I believe we'll see some form of assistance for those people who don't have access to return to a job. As always, it seems like the best idea is a combination of proposals. I could see something like Senator Wyden's plan to have this sliding scale of unemployment combined with payroll tax credits being a great combination personally. This would allow people to make more money if they return to work because they wouldn't have to pay as much income tax, thus giving more incentive to go back to work because the take-home pay would be higher. And it still would provide support for those who don't have any employment options whatsoever, but we'd still have that sliding scale so it wouldn't get so crazy out of hand, which is what the Republicans are worried about. Seems like a combination might be a good idea. So this is all that I have on this proposal. I hope that I help paint a picture of what is going on each side and what the important issues are at hand. And I'm going to end this just with a short plug before I go. If you're interested in getting into the stock market with as little as $100, check out the link in my description. If you make an account with Webull and deposit $100, you'll receive 2 completely free stocks. I personally received $30 worth of stocks for free when I made my account. Not bad for 5 minutes of work to sign up. Just saying, you help out this channel, you'll get some free stocks. Not a bad deal. Until next time, I'd like to thank you for watching and I hope you have a profitable day.